Hello friends, welcome to Daily Sourdough. Today we are going to make sourdough bread pudding, one of the most popular holiday desserts of all time. Really easy to make and using leftover breads that are just going stale otherwise. This recipe is from my all-time favorite hotel called the Grand America. It's such a beautiful place to go stay and do a little Christmas shopping. They serve this bread pudding at their Sunday brunch every week, and it's just such a delight to go and sit in their beautiful dining area and eat this bread pudding along with the other meal. And especially at this time of year because they decorate to the hilt. It's a phenomenal place to go. To begin, take 4 eggs and in a bowl, whisk them up until very well whisked. In a saucepan on the stove, on medium heat, heat up 3 cups of cream, 1 cup of sugar, this white granulated sugar, a tablespoon of vanilla, and 1 cinnamon stick. Then just gently heat this over medium heat until it gets hot but not beginning to boil. Once your mixture is hot, remove your cinnamon stick and then whisk in your beaten eggs into this hot mixture. And you'll need to whisk them quickly because the eggs will begin to cook and you don't want too many solids. So whisk them vigorously as soon as you start adding the eggs to your cream. Now pour your hot mixture through a strainer into a larger bowl. And this will catch any solids from the eggs that you might have collected in your pan. You don't want those lumps in your beautiful bread pudding. And as you can see, there's some solids in there, some of that cooked egg. Just take those out. Now set this aside a minute while you prepare your breads. And of course, when they're making it at the hotel, they are using croissants. And they just break the croissants apart and put them in the dish. But we are going to be using our leftover sourdough breads, which is going to be fantastic. And I have two different breads here. This is a butter bread, and then this bread is just a basic sourdough bread loaf that I've had in the freezer for who knows how long. I found it in there, and of course it's probably freezer burned or stale or something, so I'm going to use that as well. If your bread is really crusty, just really stiff crust, then cut some of that off. You do want some crust on there for texture and flavor and a little bit of color, but you don't really want that really hard crust. So cut some of that off and just put it aside because that makes delicious breadcrumbs. If you just dry those out until they're really good and dry, then blend them up in your blender, makes great breadcrumbs. Then take your softer pieces of bread and break them into pieces, and you can cut them with a knife if you want. It's actually more aesthetically pleasing to break them into pieces. It's just a little more irregular pieces, and it's just nice. So break up your bread, and you're going to fill up a 9 by 13 pan. Now add all of your torn up bread pieces to your eggs and cream mixture. Press those bread pieces down into the egg mixture because you want to let this soak up that cream and eggs and become fully incorporated. Then you're going to let this rest and soak for about 10 minutes. Now pour this mixture into a 9x13 baking dish. And be sure to spread it all out evenly. Then cover with foil. And place this dish in a larger pan like that. Now put about an inch of hot water in this larger pan so that your bread pudding is just going to kind of have a water bath in this larger pan. And put it in the oven at 400 degrees for about 60 minutes. And you want to take a knife and test it for doneness, because the eggs will take quite a while to cook. So you just poke it with a knife or a toothpick to test for doneness. While your bread pudding is cooking, back on the stove in a small sauce pot, combine 1 cup of brown sugar, packed brown sugar, firmly packed brown sugar. If I can get it out of there. Okay. 2/3 cup of white granulated sugar, 2/3 cup of apple juice, 3/4 cup of heavy cream. Scratch the small sauce pot because you're going to need a medium-sized sauce pot. I'm going to transfer this over. I just wanted to use my cute little pot here. Also add to that 1 cup of butter, which is 2 sticks, and 1.5 tablespoons of rum, but since I don't drink alcohol, I'm going to use vanilla. And bring this to a boil and boil it for about 5 minutes. Bring this to a rapid boil and boil it for 5 minutes because you want to thicken it just a little bit, but keep an eye on it and stir it frequently. Allow your sauce to cool slightly, then using an immersion blender or your hand mixer, whip your sauce just so that you infuse some air into the sauce, and this will lighten it up a little. The color will become a little more creamy looking, more caramely, and it will make it seem a little thicker. This bread pudding is absolutely delicious, friends. Be sure and give it a try. Share it with your family and friends this holiday season, and be sure to stay tuned to Daily Sourdough. Wow. A little bit of tang in the sourdough, lots of sweet with the syrup. Add as much syrup as you want. It's fantastic.